Hello, and welcome to my channel. To my subs, welcome back. For spooky season, my friend Stitchwick Creations organized a masquerade for us. Time for all the ghouls to come out and play. I wasn't sure what to do at first, but all of us picked up G3 dolls, and I had Venus in my stash. So I decided to play around with her and see what I could come up with. And then, surprise, surprise, I went over the top again and made her a girlfriend too. Make sure to check out all my friends' videos. Shelby KG, Stitchwick Creations, The Witch Crafting, Nalumbo Dolls, and Heliophobiant. I'm super excited to show you my girls, so let's get into the concept art. I apologize as I wasn't in a painting mood, so these are very messy. For Venus, I wanted to keep her elegant and beautiful. A bit demure, you could say. I heavily referenced Michael Costello's work for the jumpsuit, as I didn't want to default to a gown this time. But she's getting lots of ruffles, lace, and trims. For Abby, yes, I'm using Abby. I wanted her to be more vintage and sassy, so she gets a short hairstyle and a long cape. As for her mask, I found a cool cat skull on Pinterest and was inspired. So full disclaimer, I love Venus. I love her leaf ears, her cornrows, the braids, all of it. I'm obsessed. But alas, we must remove her braids. They're more like paracord than anything else. I'm aware that's made of nylon fibers, but still, it's weird feeling. Time to remove her head. I'm still scared to do this on camera. I'm afraid water's going to go everywhere. And we're safe this time. Time to scrape out those plugs. This is very easy as the holes on Venus are huge. Don't take that out of context. And also can confirm Mattel is still using glue for core Venus. Alright, let's wipe off her face and hair paint. The magenta won't go well with what I had planned. Let's paint her scalp a better color. Her cornrows too. I'm sure many people would root over them or cut them off, but I love them, so they're staying. Of course, sometimes paint gets where it shouldn't, so take a toothpick and carefully scratch it off before sealing. Seal the deal with some Mod Podge. I then rerouted some curly bright pumpkin hair into the holes. But they're so large, I could get a lot of hair plugged in at once. Now, I didn't fill the whole head. The hair's too voluminous for that. But she'll have an updo, so you'll never know. Now for Abby, I followed the same steps to prep her. I'm sorry for how this video is going to jump around. I tried to piece it together as best I could. Back to Venus, we're going to give her freckles. So I've got a stiff brush, and I'm flicking little specks of paint all over her body. And then using dark green paint, I picked out the vines on leaves on her legs. Remember to seal the paint in. I actually had a weird reaction this time with the MSC, and little chips came off anyway. It's okay, she'll be covered up. Her face also needs freckles, so let's splatter some on. Time for her face. I started by sketching her eyes on in green. Using green and teal pastels, I blushed her face and body. I add the first layer of mica powder. She's gonna get a lot. And then shade her lips. I did a silly here. I forgot to put down white before the bright colors, completely forgetting how badly the MSC was going to dull them. Still sketched in the white leaves around her eyes. They end up not that visible in the end, but I still like the result. For her eyeshadow, I swapped to pastels. I need to pump up the colors several notches. Can't forget her waterline. I brushed on some pastels for eyebrows. I chose brown since I thought it would blend well with her hair and show up on her skin. I finally remembered to add highlights and lighten up the whites. I decided to give her soft brown eyes. I thought the earthy tone would work well with her green skin. Her lips took a surprising amount of layers to saturate. This is where I remembered to put down white before yellow to make it pop. Time for black. I darkened the lines and went to town on the eyelashes. Just tiny flicks while holding my breath and tightening my butt cheeks. I also added the lip wrinkles and details. Finally, I added her eye shines with acrylic paint. One last layer of mica powder. And then add a gloss to her eyes and lips. For funsies, I had a bridge piercing as well. Time to take her hair down. I'm so excited about this part. For her hair, I just sort of flipped her around a pencil a few times and bound it. The elastics broke eventually, so I had to do it again with wire. I then glued in some square black gem earrings I had in my stash. For Abby, we're going to follow the same steps. This time I focused on a lot of pinks and purples instead of straight blue because I wanted more depth. I sketched in a more sultry look because I wanted her to be more sassy. I let the blushing be more blotchy this time. Not sure why, I just kind of felt like trying it out. Kind of reminds me of Jackie O's. I like to think these two are a popular monster power couple, and that Appy is a more outspoken one, while Venus is the sweet one who soothes her temper. I can see them in places like Murder on the Oriental Express or a fancy corporate party, just smoozing it up. I'm loving these girls. I may have gone temporarily insane for deciding to do a second doll, but I'm very glad I did. I don't think just Venus would have been enough for this wonderful collaboration. She just felt incomplete until I added Abby. I don't know what I was thinking trying to give her white lips. It just turns into a mess. I never should have done it. Pink eyes are not something I often do, if ever, so I wasn't entirely sure how to approach them, but I think I got there in the end. I tried to do gray brows, but it just wasn't working out, so I went for black. I then applied her eyeshadow, which was deep blues and bright pinks. Still trying to make that white lip work, and it looks like she was doing things. Don't ask. I tried adding lip details in purple, but it still looked awful. I went in with black to give her a wicked wing eyeliner and lashes. And the added eye shines. That white lip is killing me. I finally broke out my blue to purple color shift paint and painted over it. So much better. I finally added the lip wrinkles with purple paint and the highlight. and then some blue mica powder. And here comes the gloss. For Abby's hair, I just glued some white yarn wefts directly to her head. I had to curve them around her horns and put the part way to the side. On to clothes. For Venus, I stuck with duct tape and plastic wrap to make a pattern for her top. I wanted to plunge deeply and just stop over her breasts. I cut the pieces out of orange satin and fray checked the edges. My old sewing machine had a factory defect that made it die. So I got a new one thanks to a friend. It has overlock stitches, so I'll be using that to make the fabrics never fray, especially the ruffles. I don't have any orange thread, so I just use black, which still fits the outfit. With satin, lace, ribbon, mesh, and some trim I got from Bubble Crafty, I created this jumpsuit. For Abby, I thought I would do draping, which I've never done. After a lot of futzing, I got these two bust caps, and then tried to drape the back. I wanted it to dip down. Needless to say, this didn't work out. So I looked up some bustier patterns online for humans and adapted them to Abby's size. That created these pieces that I cut from lavender vinyl, including a skirt piece, which when put together made this slinky dress. I had to do it by hand. My new machine didn't like the fabric, and I didn't realize at the time I needed to change the needle. Her furred cloak came out like this. It's just a basic pattern with holes if left in the sides for arms. I added some lace for eyelets, and then tied her in corset style. Their shoes were an adventure. I first tried to make them completely out of Warbler. When that failed, I tried fabric and polymer clay, which was also terrible. So I gave in and painted their factory shoe bases. I then attached fabric uppers to those and slipped them on the doll's feet. There are a few ways to make a mask for a doll. Warbler, craft foam, or do what I'm going to do. I have this knockoff wood donut head. I'm going to steal her face. I then cut out her eyes. Don't be mean, wear protective gear. My best friend already yelled at me for this footage. I then used my Dremel to smooth out the holes in size, risking my fingers the entire time. I then painted the face into a pretty bronze gold and green mask. I added some gold brocade fabric as a fan detail and a gold chain to put it on her head. And it didn't fit! So I made one out of a spare G3 Abby hat I had. Don't worry, it was very beat up and fresh out of the box with lots of cuts and gouges, so I don't mind cutting it up more. With Venus' mask done, let's move on to Abby. I decided to use Warbler base for hers and then sculpt on top. I cut out the eyes, nose, and a cross detail. After making some marks to sculpt by, I got out the epoxy sculpt and got to work. After a few days of sculpting, some black and gold paint, and a piece of elastic, her mask is ready to go. Finally, I styled Abby's hair. There was no point before now. So I used my heated chopstick to make it stick out to one side and lay flat on the other. And with that, the girls are done. Time for photos. I took a few shots outside, but then the incident happened. The wind blew and poor Venus took a tumble, landing in a hole under a stump near my porch. She's perfectly fine and cleaned up easy, but I still brought them back inside for the rest of the photos. I really like how cute they turned out, and my friends are pleased too. Venus is so cute, and Abby looks nice and sassy. I also like the height difference. Problem, of course, is that none of my stands fit. Their masks came out cool, even when they're not exactly what I wanted, but that's okay. Well, I like to think both of these girls are ready for the Masquerade. Don't forget to check out my friends' videos. I'll link them in the description box. Happy spooky season, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.